I'm forever grateful to her. She gave me a true piece of advice that is so confidential. I don't know how to repay. But she's a wise woman, and she was able to evolve from one occupation to another. What do I mean by that? She used to work for a law firm, and then she discovered that she couldn't deal with a law firm. In fact, she discovered that she was not an organization woman. She couldn't work in an organization. So am I. I can't work in an organization. If you want me to work for the government, I will die. I will die right away before I go. So I can't. And I'm not anti-government. I just can't. I can't. I'm alive. I'm like an Alka-Seltzer tablet. You know. I can't. I will put me in water, meaning let me be myself. I will effervesce. I don't mind. So Marianne used to work for a law firm. Finally realized, self-knowledge, that she couldn't stand it anymore. So because her law was in helping U.S. Postal Office get into discrimination suits or all kinds of things, protecting labor. And for a long time, she was profitable doing that kind of work. But do you remember what has happened to the American industry? The unions, you know what is happening to our labor union? Dwindling, coming down. So there was no work. So she had to evolve. And luckily, because she was trained as a lawyer, she could segue, like the piece of stone going. She was able to segue from being a lawyer doing labor law to becoming an arbitrator. See, in order to be an arbitrator, settling business disputes, you have to be a lawyer. So again, it goes back to my self-knowledge thing. Don't just focus on some cockamamie ideas that you have. Focus on something you know about. See, that's what I mean. Finally, the last skill sets, and I'm going to stop because I do want to take questions from you. None of the above really still means anything without the final skill set, defined by the word P, or passion. You may know who you are, what you can do, for which people are willing to pay. You may be a good salesman. You may learn how to structure your business well. You may be able to go along with the times, but without passion, without truly liking what you do, you are, to your client, a dead fish. How many of you would like to eat a raw, dead, putrid, fatigued fish? How many of you would like to look at a kaleidoscope that is so boring you may as well shoot yourself? Passion. Passion is very difficult to explain, but every one of us has it. The real reason why I am doing what I'm doing was because I was an illegal immigrant. I came to America, I told you. I came to America. My student visa expired. And I didn't understand the meaning of American law. See, America is a very funny culture. Like, they really go by the book. Law means you really have to obey the letter of the word. Because my visa says you have to leave on July 1st by 5 o'clock, a certain year. I said, oh, July 1st by... what does that mean? I didn't know it was that big a deal, Oh yeah, it is a very big deal. Like, men's room, women's room, even if the women's room is empty, don't go in there. So I overstayed. And as a result, I had to fight. I used 5 years, 3 lawyers, $20,000 US. I did not even have $200. I borrowed all the money. To fight a court case. I was deported 3 times. I sent 500 letters, hand typed. Mobil Oil wanted to hire me, Continental Grain wanted to hire me, Chemical Bank wanted to hire me, Cabot Corporation wanted to hire me. I was at the right place at the right time, but no company wanted to hire me because I didn't have a fucking green card. I could always return to Hong Kong. I had flaming academic credentials. I didn't want to. I was willful. And also I said to myself, if I put myself on a plane and return to Hong Kong, I might never come back. And not only that, I might psychologically believe I was a failure. I didn't want to fail. I was willing to die. Just for this silly, willful desire to win. But I was losing. I was losing. I had no money. My wisdom tooth come out. I offered my body to Temple University Dental School because they needed some real life body to work on. So that's how I got my wisdom tooth pulled out. But that's a distraction. So one day I was so depressed. I happened to be in front of the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral. I said, oh, here's my chance, talk to God. I wasn't even Christian. But it doesn't matter. So I walked in and I was on my knees and I was doing a novena with St. John Newman. And after that I talked to everybody, I couldn't tell which saint from what, but you had to start somewhere. So I talked to whoever who was willing to listen. And I essentially, on my knees at the church, I started telling God, if you can help me get a green card, I will help both China and America closer. And it was at that moment that I invented what I wanted to do. You see, remember in the beginning of this lecture, when I was a teenager, I was fascinated about studying China, the country, as if it were a person. Same thing. I am fascinated about America as if it were a person. And I know that these two persons never get along because they are so different. And they don't even know it. They don't even know. And they never will know. It's like tofu talking to cheese. They have no clue. No clue. And at that moment in church, in near despair, I discovered something I could do. I would help cheese talk to tofu and have them pay me. And that is the end. That's passion. If you want to be successful, get ready. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Done really, it's like making you crazy so that you start asking me questions. Okay, so at least I gave you something to begin with. So